yes. Congratulations. So yeah, we do of course have Demi and Beastwork walking away with a little bit of extra money, but here we go. Now we are diving into our grand finals. Oh boy, it is going to be our TVP. And as we get into this, massive shout out to Taco Stuff in the chat for the 10 bits.
Hey, 10 bits indeed. That's like 30 AUD. But thank you, Taco Stuff. Thank you for your cheer, your passion, the passion of you guys in the chat. It's really, support the players, and we appreciate you guys tuning in.
Thank you. Much love, much love. Oh, and speaking of love, Chase. We got our finals, man. Go for it.
I know you love to see it. Spawning in the top right position. It is his first time in a Sparkling Tuna and his first time in the finals. He's a North American Protoss player residing in Canada, playing for Root. It is TriGGeR.
And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, also having his debut here in the Sparkling Tuna Cup. It is his first time. We'll see which one of these two is going to walk that royal road. We have our South Korean Terran representing the Kwangdong Freaks. It is Commander KeeN. Oh.
Oof.
Ah. So yes, we've had a lot of PvPs, we've had some PvTs, and it all leads up to this. Two of our best players here in today's tournament, Korea versus Canada versus North America. And so far here in game one, nothing too crazy, there's no proxies coming out from either one of our players.
No, that's been great. We've had lots of different kinds of representation, and it's not only is it great for as a player kind of side of things, but it's also great for the viewers. You've always got like the hometown favorite you can cheer for, or if you don't, we've had very good racial diversity, I'd say. So far, even though there was 3 Protoss in the semis, and unfortunately TriGGeR got knocked out, who was the reigning champion actually, to defend his title. We had a lot of diversity today, so I'd say it's really great to see.
Yeah, that is the one downside of this week's tournament, is that, True was the Zerg Hope, and the Zerg Hope was killed. Unfortunately this week, 3-Point didn't show up, or, Oreo has been a little bit busy with his homeworks. No Zergs in the semis, but, we got to give one win to the Protoss and the Terran, right? Zergs are winning everything at the highest level of play. You got to spread the love, right?
Not anymore. Now that the nerfs have been announced. So
true. The F's in the chat for the Queen, mate. F's in the chat.
Oh no. But yeah, curious to see how the meta will definitely be shaken up. Because a lot of the changes they made were to kind of core units that we're seeing at the moment. Except maybe the Widowmine, but the Widowmine is still an important harass tool. This Reaper just shooting along. It's going to spot this Stalker. TriGGeR gonna shoo it away. Meanwhile, I see concussive shells in the way. I see a Marauder. I see 3 barracks. So expect to see some aggressive plays. Same map here as last series KeeN did this on. But
Mech is gonna be coming out.
Mech, it's kind of Mech. It's harder hitting, right? But KeeN's been kind of. I guess upon seeing that Stalker, he's actually going to be sending these 2 Marauders across the map. What do you think of this lad?
Yeah, so I guess it kind of makes sense. We used to see that this used to be a little bit more popular, like maybe 6 months ago, right? Where the Marauders come across the map, they can target down buildings, they can target down gateway units. The downside is that TriGGeR scouted them. He scouted them pretty early on, so now he knows 100% about the opener, and he should be getting ready. But at the same time, the Reaper gets in and gets a worker kill. Oh my god.
Yeah, that's right, and actually it's got no damage on it. It's going to just kind of vibe around and going to escape through the little ramp as well. And these Marauders just going to push back. The shield battery, I don't know if this is a standard shield battery timing, but you probably don't need it this early on. So maybe that's just a response to scouting the Marauders by TriGGeR. But TriGGeR's actually going to be going for a 3rd base here. So again, it looks like KeeN's push is going to come down to the micro, how he plays out. And TriGGeR going for What a world is it like that we scout marauders and the response is to make more stalkers? But that is the state of PvT right now with Blink on the
Yes,
way.
nice. Stalkers are pretty good. You know, Blink is pretty good as well. I'm really curious to see what he's going to create with this Robo. Like, one way to really shut down 3 racks is that if you had gone for a Robo opening and you work on something like a Colossus, but it looks like TriGGeR isn't really... Oh, no, there it is. I was like, is he going to be focusing a lot more on gateway units? And there is that robotic space, so he is going to be working on that splash damage.
Yeah, and meanwhile, here we go. We see them move out, and TriGGeR, he's spread himself a little bit thin. He's getting a lot of tech. He's getting a third base. He's making workers too.
Mhm.
So the thing is, this push might be a bit hard to hold on. Is there a shield battery at the third? It's finishing up, yes, but if he does manage to hold on, he'll be in such a great position.
Yeah, and even if that shield battery finishes up, maybe we got plenty of Marauders. We saw how he's not stopping in the Marauder production either. We saw how heavily he invests into them against his series against Beastork, and there we go, immediately the shield battery goes down.
Yeah, and unfortunately, this TriGGeR's put himself in a difficult position here. He's only got 3 Stalkers, and you'd think seeing the Marauders, he knew this was coming, but it looks like he's just not really prepared to deal for it. Like, and this third base is under a lot of peril.
Yeah, I'd be so surprised if TriGGeR is able to keep this third base alive. Like, he's blinking his heart out right now. He's trying to trade as best he can, but there's no way.
Just can't engage this force, and those Marauders, even with the concussive, you know, they deal so much damage as well, and TriGGeR just can't really stick around. And the worst part about this cancel light is KeeN barely lost anything.
Yeah. Like, even against Beastork, KeeN, he traded so much, he stimmed so much, but, like, he didn't even stim his Marauders there. That's how insane that was. It's crazy. KeeN is looking in such a commanding position, and sure, there's a Colossus now, finally, for TriGGeR, but does it even matter at this point? It's stuck! No!
Colossus stuck, but limelight, the fact that KeeN barely lost anything, he means he's gonna push out before his medevacs are finished. He didn't even stim, right? And this is a very deadly force. There are no
Yeah, and there's no shield battery, there's no overcharge at the natural because he just had to kill it.
Oh no, this is impossible. And here we go, the supply. And Robo is going to go down, and TriGGeR can't run away. He needs to engage. He can't, you know, bait out the stim here now because the stim's units on top of these probes.
Yeah, exactly. The mirror line is going to go down immediately. The Colossus is dishing out a lot of damage, and maybe TriGGeR can hold on here, but he's losing so much in the process. There's only a Colossus left. It's going to be targeted down.
GG. KeeN will take game 1 with a very decisive roll-time build. But I gotta say, like, I'm surprised. I thought he scouted the Marauders. You know, why didn't he kind of, you know, do something to kind of at least drop an extra couple gateways or so? But...
Yeah. When you said what a world we live in, where when you scout Marauders and you make Stalkers, I thought you were gonna bring up when you scout Marauders and you just get a third, and like you just tech up instead. It's like, what? Yeah, as you said, like TriGGeR, even though he did scout. He did get some scouting information. He didn't make the correct response. It's possible that maybe, like, in his mind, things just didn't click together. Like, oh, this is a 3-racks opener. Like, oh, there's gonna be a strong buyer push, right? Which we knew was coming, but TriGGeR, it did kind of just slip his mind, and he was just being too greedy. And wow, that was just it, you know?
Yeah, I think TriGGeR, if he had a couple more Stalkers, and maybe he was out on the map, blinking a bit more, kind of kiting the units as they came across, maybe that would have worked out better. But the fact he went for that third base so early, and then he went for his like Robotech as well behind it, it just kind of felt like he's spreading himself too thin. And when you're dealing with a Terran who just wants to punch through with a singular goal, 3 barracks, you know, Marauder Marine,
Yeah.
you need to kind of respect that a little bit more, and we didn't see that from TriGGeR as he got his third base sniped, and then KeeN just pushed without the medevac. So very decisive victory for KeeN in game number 1. Can TriGGeR bring it back in game number 2?
Yeah, hopefully he can. Hopefully he's able to respect his opponent a little bit more with the builds that they are going for. But here we go. We are spawning in game number 2 on Glittering Ashes, LE. And in the bottom left-hand corner, we have our Canadian Protoss player representing Root Gaming. It is TriGGeR.
And spawning in the top right position of light, this is Glittering Ashes, I'm so smart. We have our Korean Terran player. He is currently up 1-0. Give it up for the player from Kwangdong Freaks. It is KeeN.
Do you see what I see, Chase?
Crow, can you help me out a little bit? I see.
Uh-huh.
That's a barracks light.
Oh, you're right. There is a barracks.
No, there's a lack of barracks at the ramp.
There's a lack of barracks. There's a barracks outside. Thankfully, TriGGeR is probe scouting, so he will confirm that a barracks is missing. But for all he knows, the racks is in the natural behind the mineral line. Maybe it's at the third base. Maybe it's not across the map.
Maybe it's just invisible.
Maybe it's cloaked.
There's a cloaked barracks. He's got a mothership out somehow. But yeah, that second deep right now, he's 100% sure he knows it's not a CC first. I mean, he'd know it's probably a proxy barracks anyway, because it's getting quite a bit of popularity at the moment. But looks like KeeN's going to be going for a Reaper. When you put a Reaper in the hands of KeeN, that is scary. The Cybercore's not finished yet.
It really is. The Cybercore is not done. Oh god, the Reaper is on the way. We did not see the prioritization of like a Zealot or anything like that coming out for TriGGeR, so he's going to be waiting on that initial Stalker. And how good is his probe micro going to be? Can he pull back the weekend? Can he bring forward the unweakened? So far so good. Uh-oh.
And one probe going down so far, another one injured. Oh, let's get a second probe even, and the light. The Stalker's going to come out, but two probes, if he keeps his Reaper alive, he's even got a bunker at the natural, actually, and this is going to be painful.
My god, it just comes in one after the other. The bunker is done, and that's going to delay mining here at the natural base even further. KeeN is being so goddamn annoying, and behind this, he's working on Widow Mines, and he's still got another Reaper.
He's bringing a second Reaper too, and this is pure harassment. He's just being so annoying with these Reapers. He's going to lose this one on the main for sure, however, but it looks like the SUV is such a cute little cradled position. KeeN's just delaying mining time here.
Yeah, that he has to wait for the shoe battery to finish up. I mean, he's trying to deal with this with what Stalkers he can. He has to be careful not to sustain too many losses. And it looks like KeeN has finally given up on the aggression. He is finally coming back home. But again, there is a follow-up.
Yeah, there is indeed. The Brax now coming home. We see the natural starting to be built by KeeN. He's got this Widow Mine just in a safe defensive position. It'll probably be until this this medevac pops out, then he'll go across the map. I think all things considered, three worker kills for a Reaper, because he did lose one Reaper. That's pretty good for the Terran player. And, yeah. You got armor on the way, like, what does this mean?
Oh my god, it is mech. No, but this is so annoying to deal with. Like, we don't have any detection. Thankfully, TriGGeR does have a robo on the way, so even though these Widow Mines are going to be invisible due to that armory, he will have access to some detection, at least.
Indeed, and fun fact, Light. I think we found this out in the same 4v4 game. If you destroy the armory, the Widow Mines just suddenly become uncloaked.
Yeah.
So if you're ever in a base trade scenario dealing with Widow Mines, focus that armory down.
Yeah, TriGGeR, he just needs to go across the map and kill the armory, and he's going to be fine.
Indeed, he will. He's got Blink coming, but actually, here we go. The Widow Mine drop coming in the main. That probe's actually going to spot it. Smart probe movement by TriGGeR there, and he reacts instantaneously, like.
Oh, he does, and it looks like the medevac is going to be focused down. It does. Oh no! No! TriGGeR, please! GG!
Oh, TriGGeR!
Oh no!
Welcome to StarCraft 2, guys. The least punishing game out there.
Oh, PvT unwinnable. It's unwinnable.
Get Twitch chat light open. I've got the timer for 2 minutes set.
No.
That is, if he just moved a little tiny bit more, he could have avoided that. But focused on taking the medevac down. He miscalculated with that the Widow Mine and the probe. So unfortunate for TriGGeR, and it's rough. I gotta rewatch that.
Lobby's been made, buddy. Come and join us, but I'm still trying to recover, mate. That's brutal. Unfortunately, this still happens at the highest level of play. I've seen it happen to Zest. I've seen it happen to Hero. Sometimes one Widow Mine shot is all you need, and that's it. That's game. It's over.
That's right. And when you see games like that as well, you know, you don't have to. It makes you feel. I don't know if it makes you feel slightly better about it happening in your own kind of level games, but that's rough. You saw he had a couple moments too where he's thinking, should I stay in this game? And then the GG happened. You know,
No,
he was like,
clearly his hands went off the keyboard at that point. He was He was like,
he didn't slam the keyboard because there was no pause. But
true,
yeah.
true.
But yeah, but how's he gonna recover? Like,
You don't.
well, he's gonna start right here on Curious Minds. I believe this is match point for KeeN as he's up 2-0 in the series, but spawning in the bottom right position, we have got our Canadian Protoss for Root. Can he steal himself? Can he complete the reverse sweep? It is TriGGeR.
And spawning in the top left hand corner of Curious Minds, Ellie of the grand finals as Madman is on match point. He only needs one more to be our Sparkling Tuna champion. Representing Kwangdong Freaks, it is KeeN. It just happened on stream.
I know, I was watching. Meanwhile, actually, we got 2 barracks procs at this time. If he ends up killing 12 probes, the winner might drop after 1 proxy barracks. Maybe you can get 24 with 2 barracks. That's how math works, right?
that is math. That is math. You're not wrong, mate. You're not wrong. Oh god, but my heart goes out to TriGGeR. He probe scouts once again. He confirms that the Rax is missing. And what I was about to say before things like popped off in game 2 is that I wanted to give TriGGeR a bit of a shout out because there's a reason why North American representation isn't really a thing in our tournament. Do you know what time it is in Canada right now?
Yes. Let me Google. I mean, let me do something non-related.
It is 8 a.m. in Canada right now.
Actually, light. It is 8:09 a.m.
It is 8:09 a.m.
I'm spreading misinformation.
It's not like TriGGeR woke up early in the morning. No, he stayed up. He's pulling an all-nighter just to play in this tournament. And to be fair, he's making money tonight. You know, he is, especially because we had that donation from Lord Loken. But that also means that, you know, playing at 8 a.m. after staying up all night, it's not ideal, especially when it comes to splitting against the Widow Mines. And now the Marauders are coming, mate. They're coming. They're coming, Chase.
Marauders are coming. There's a shield battery start for TriGGeR here. It's going to get cancelled most likely, but it's going to buy some time for this Stalker. And meanwhile, there's no kind of... Actually, the Stalker's just going to get jumped on, but for these probes, there's a lot of probes being pulled, like, but you need to be decisive here, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, probes do need to be pulled, otherwise the Stalker would have died, otherwise the shield battery would have died, and everything would have gone south from there. Thankfully, though, he does buy a little bit more time. Shield battery is up and running, Nexus finishes, so there will be an overcharge as well, and he also has some probes here on the low ground if he does need to pull them again. Uh-oh.
Yeah, oh god. That's 3 Marauders, like he's smoking the shield battery on these probes out of position.
Oh.
He needs to keep that Stalker alive for the next shield battery, and what?
Oh, so far so good. He actually got us around on one of those Marauders. The probes, they got the Marauder kill, and TriGGeR, he's pushing this back a little bit, but now there are 4 Marauders.
Yeah, apologies, I just disconnected for a slight second. I couldn't take it, but with this shield battery, now 2 Stalkers. Now
he's pulling the boys! The boys are coming across the map! At the same time, he's gonna dive on top of these Stalkers, and mate, overcharge, it barely keeps him alive!
Yeah, no, it looks like he's gonna push this back, but this overcharge, it's, you know, KeeN just wants to keep these Marauders alive now, because with the boys arriving, it's not gonna be overcharge, is there? Like, once this runs out.
Exactly, it runs out. TriGGeR, he needs to see this. He needs to pull his own workers. He needs to pull everything. He needs to maybe even evacuate the natural base. Oh my god!
And he needs to get to one Marauder. He needs to focus these Marauders down. Meanwhile, they have to focus the Stalkers down. The workers just kind of doing their own thing. But I think that TriGGeR's going to be able to hold on to this since this Marauder count dwindles.
Yeah, it looks like he will. Every single SCV falls. GG gets called, and TriGGeR, he fights back. He survives. And we're going to have a game 4.
We have 2-1 light. KeeN may be getting a little bit overzealous this series and, you know, throwing out something a bit crazy. But great hold by TriGGeR. We're saying 8 in the morning. He's still able to hold a wacky proxy, but yeah, good crisis management by our Canadian Protoss.
He's injecting caffeine into his veins as we speak, injecting that G fuel, if you will.
The G fuel. I got my G fuel right here.
Let's go. But what a game there. He barely holds on. We will have an extended series, or I should say the series will go on. And is this the beginning of a comeback? Because again, KeeN still only needs 1 more to be our champion.
Yeah, that's right. We have to also keep in the mind that he hasn't been kind of showing what he's really made of in a macro capacity these days. We haven't seen a solid macro game so far. It's been a lot of
True.
dying before 3-base saturation. So I wonder if now, if one game in the hand is where he kind of relies on those superior Korean mechanics he has, or if he just thinks, I can just throw out something crazy again that will catch TriGGeR off guard.
Oh, God. I mean, he has the room to be crazy. And maybe that's just the kind of player he is. Maybe he is just crazy because you say this series we haven't seen too much macro from KeeN. This tournament we haven't seen too much macro from KeeN. He's just been hyper aggressive, this kind of like Beyond-esque style of just these consistent bio pushes, these drops all over the place, and maybe that'll just continue.
Yeah, why make many unit when few unit do job?
8 strong together.
8 strong together, and we have 12 probes. Yeah, how many apes? Maybe they can pull it off, spawning the bottom left. It is the Phenom, the Enigma. It is our Canadian Protoss player. Give it up for Root Gaming's TriGGeR.
And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Blackburn ALE, we have the Korean Terran player, still only one map away from becoming this week's champion. Can he pull it off? He's representing Kwangdong Freaks. It is KeeN. This time, the Rax is at home.
The proxy Rax is proxied at a regular location.
Oh, you're not. Is it irregular because it's regular?
I mean, I guess so, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But is it regular because it's irregularly regular, or is it regular because it's just regular?
I think we need the chat's help on this one. I think
you need more than the chat's help on this one. But yeah, here we go. KeeN going for a Reaper expand. It looks good to play by the probe. But we have 2 gas, and that gas was built quite early,
Oh, it has been built quite early. It is slowly stacking on up. Meanwhile, I did want to give a quick shout out to Chileno Singaporean in the chat. Gracias, papi, gracias for the 300 bits. He is cheering for TriGGeR, and it looks like those cheers are exactly what TriGGeR needed to win that game. It means maybe we may need some more cheers in the chat. I don't know.
Yeah, it looks like Protoss is actually pay to win thanks to Chileno Singaporean. So, can you imagine like Mario vs. Cyril in the finals and the fanboys just like donating against each other?
Oh my god!
Oh boy! Every time you donate, Balians get +1 health.
I think Fear Dragon hosted a tournament like that where you could influence I think it was TLO. You could influence the game by spending, I think it was in-game channel points, or maybe just money. Like you could give a player like units. It was like Hunger Games where you could like give them resources or give them units, like give them like a supply drop to help them out in the game.
That's really sick. I like that. Yeah, the fan. I mean, there's nothing worse than going up against a fan favorite and saying no one cares about you. I've been in that situation before. Players, they're going to be going to the airline. We've got a starport. We have Hellions. I'm thinking Hellion drop, and I'm thinking a Oracle.
Oh,
check this out. You ready? It's going to be Oracle.
So we do have an Oracle on the way. We do also have, it looks like a Widowmine drop in production, but more importantly, because of these Hellions, maybe some multi-pronged aggression, maybe try and sneak into the natural and the main at the same time. Oh my. Oh, yes, he just goes in.
Yeah, there's 3 Adepts here actually. Normally you just see a Stalker or maybe, Adept and Stalker, but I don't see these Hellions actually getting that much done, especially with one being sniped, and so far clean hold for TriGGeR.
Yeah, exactly. Beautifully done here. He does force TriGGeR to waste some Oracle energy here at home, and he does confirm the opener as well. So maybe KeeN thought that getting scouting information would be a little bit more important just because of the openers, but I'm also surprised that he went in so early with those Hellions.
No. Oh, like this Oracle. This slow. No, it's gonna dodge it. That's fine.
It's like, oh no, no, it's fine.
Maybe the last moment. The Oracle's like, I see you there, man. But here we see, and these adepts are gonna be quite scary. There's actually nothing on the ground.
There is nothing on the ground, not yet anyway, but he does have eyes on it. The adepts, they get into the main base with the Wonder shot.
Big adept shot there, and the shield's being taken out, but there's nothing that can really deal with these. Oh, there's a couple of Marines if TriGGeR's not watching. He actually is going to hold on to this here. Meanwhile,
The drop.
the drop is still being pested by the Oracle. It's just going to...
He doesn't even go for it. He doesn't even go for it. Oh, okay, no, he turns around there. Finally, in the end, I love it. He even leaves a stray Widowmine just in case he catches a random Oracle in the middle of the map. But what is important is what KeeN isn't getting is... Oh, God! The Widowmine shot doesn't go off.
Yeah, you almost got this Oracle. Oh, he's just kind of dancing between these Widowmines, man. But here we go. Third base being... You know, it's never a great feeling when you see a third base finished as Terran and you don't have your third even started yet.
Yeah.
So I'm going to expect KeeN... He hasn't put in any extra infrastructure yet. What do you think he's going to do here?
Well, I think KeeN clearly has been listening to the stream because we keep, or at least I keep joking about going into mech, and he's taking that joke seriously. And I'm a little bit worried for him because I joke for a reason, you know. We do have backfield accelerators on the way. We don't have stim, we don't have combat shields, we don't have any bio upgrades whatsoever. It is just these straight up units. But the timing is going to hit with Magfield, and maybe it's going to be enough.
Yeah, he's got these... He's actually triggered that stasis ward with that SCV smartly, and it's a very technical army that KeeN's got at the door here, but these Oracles going to come into the natural, and there's no turrets, nothing like...
Yeah, and a beautiful bait there with that Marine. The force fields do zone out some of these Cyclones a little bit. They do get rid of their lock-on, and shield battery overcharges, keeping these Stalkers alive.
Yeah, and meanwhile the Oracle's finally starting their beam. There's two Marines here, but I think that KeeN has to get some severe damage here because he's starting to lose SCVs left and right now.
Yeah, he needs to get that damage done. Oh my god, the Widow shot's gonna go off for the workers! Oh!
Oh wow, looks like he might just manage to break through here. He's got a couple of Vikings left, and TriGGeR's taking out the whole natural mineral line of actually there was a transfer from KeeN, so good crisis management there, but end of the day, like, I'm not sure, like TriGGeR lost a lot of workers, but he's got a third base and he's got more workers still.
I have to wonder, is there a world where he doesn't pull the boys and he still holds anyway and he's in a better position? Like, that was, as you said, what was that, 15, 16 probe kills in the end? Like, that was a lot. Like, oh god. At least he survives, but because of all that economic damage, now KeeN, he's not in the worst position.
Yeah, that's right, and actually, the good thing for KeeN, he managed to save some of those. You know, if you look at his main base, he's got a red Viking and a red Cyclone, so that's good. And he's got a third base coming on the way too, but it looks like TriGGeR wants to transition to the charge lots here. And given, you know, the unit comp of KeeN, it's very technical and, you know, it's very hard hitting in the right hands. But if you don't have the time to set up and you just get overwhelmed by Zealots, it's not the greatest, is it?
It really isn't. And that may happen, especially if KeeN attempts to try and take another base. It's one of those things where KeeN is now throwing down, he's now working on his production, he's throwing down all these Raxes, but Stim is late, combat shields is late, upgrades are late, all of this tech is late, and that means that KeeN is going to have a hard time getting into the mid game. He's going to have a hard time pushing out across the map in general.
Yeah, we see TriGGeR's actually going to be pushing out the map here. I would have liked to see him bring these Stalkers forward. If they have Blink, I believe, I can't tell with this overlay if they have Blink or not. I'm not sure it's upgrade, but they do. Even just to, like, clear the way for these Widow Mines that KeeN could have just, you know, littered around the map. But another thing to keep in mind, these two Oracles are still alive with 9 kills between them and energy gathering. This is going to be a constant pain, especially with no NG Bay. NG Bay actually is finished in the main, but there's no turrets like
yeah. There's what there is there's potential for damage to be dealt. Meanwhile, the army's pushing out through the middle of that. There are a couple of Widow Mines that are kind of sporadically thrown around, but they are being triggered, they are being cleaned up, and now TriGGeR, he's here, and he is not going to let KeeN get that third. He just goes for the natural. Oh my god!
Oh yes, he just jumps in. The Oracle's coming in too to help out, and I think there's just an overwhelming amount of Protoss here, even if the Oracle's kind of delayed, but there's a decent backbone of bio here for KeeN. He's going to hold on to this push.
Yeah, I was like, question. No, more prison! No!
Oh no, more prison! Sorry, I'm late, guys.
That was a questionable aggressive blink forward there. KeeN did have 2 tanks and only one of them was focused down, so there was that one tank in the back line that was just dishing out so much damage. But it may have been worth it because KeeN lost a lot of SCVs.
Yeah, he did indeed, and we see even though KeeN, still got a bit of a solid Bioforce and a tank, he's been forced to lift up his third command center because he doesn't feel comfortable taking it. He doesn't feel like he can really move out with his base and kind of engage in open ground against the Protoss with so many gateway units. And unfortunately for him, he kind of needs to because TriGGeR has a fully saturated third base and he's got Storm Chrono boosted on the way.
Man, he doesn't just have a third, he's got a fourth on the way. It's the gold on top of all of that, so TriGGeR is in such a comfortable position. No, does not hit the drop! Gets sniped immediately. Any kind of aggression coming out from KeeN is being shut down. TriGGeR is looking so good right now.
Yeah, he did leave 2 Stalkers behind with that blink though, so I'm sure that they'll be
catch another drop. Don't worry about it.
Of course, if a Korean pro does it, it's for scouting for drops. If I do it, it's because I'm a platinum Protoss. But yeah, KeeN finally now feeling comfortable. I wouldn't have minded just like going to take the gold base straight away here because I guess this is a more of an entrance position with this third here. There's only a couple of attack avenues, but KeeN needs to do something to get back into this game, but I'm not sure what.
Yeah, I mean, he's doing the correct thing, which is, what do you do in this position? Drop, right? You have to go for all these drops. You have to try and even up that worker count as best you can. But we saw what happened when he went for the drop. He just got shut down. Like, feels bad, man, you know? KeeN, he is trying desperately, and now he is going for a double drop towards the north, and maybe he can try and deny the gold base. But TriGGeR doesn't care. The gold isn't that important to him. Not right now.
Yeah, the biggest thing about the gold base, it lets him see where these units are, and it might force him to just kind of attack with it. And we see that TriGGeR's going to drop a stasis and would see nothing here. He's going to jump on top of these units here, and we might see ourselves in a base trade scenario here, like, which could be the best kind of thing for KeeN.
Maybe. I mean, there's a lot of zealots. The tank is going to be dealt with. We do see TriGGeR just pushing up into the natural base and taking everything out. And as you said, KeeN, he's going for the base trade. The 4th base goes down at the gold, and the rest of the army is going to try and push up into the natural.
Yeah, these Archons aren't going to finish. And I feel like TriGGeR just gets a couple of High Templar out. He's got a few of them in this Warp Prism that's coming back home, and it's going to come down to the
Storm.
Oh! Here they go, like.
Oh my god, the storms are more than good enough. GG gets called, and TriGGeR is taking it to the ace match.
Ace match, that's exciting. Like, I'm not expected. Well, I didn't expect KeeN and TriGGeR to go to the ace match, especially when TriGGeR's playing at 8 in the morning, so kudos to him.
Yeah, like, I mean, let's be honest, there's a world where this would have been a 3-0. Like, KeeN, like, that game 3 was looking really rough, but TriGGeR, he was able to, like, gain, like, a second win after winning that game. You know, he got the power from the chat, he got the bits were able to fuel him, and now we're in game 5.
Yeah, he's been powered up by Chileno. He's the bits, they've kind of turned the, and not only is it like a, you know, it has been back and forth, but you know, KeeN took the first 2 games pretty dominantly, and then TriGGeR has actually hit back. That last game especially was very convincing. So
yeah, so here we go. Yeah, game number 5. This is going to be the final game of the series of the tournament. Here we are going to determine who is our champion and who is our runner-up. Is it going to be the Protoss or the Terran, the North American or the Korean, the TriGGeR or the KeeN?
I was gonna make a joke. I was gonna say something with both Chance, KeeN, and TriGGeR in it, but I thought that would keenly trigger you by a
chance.
By a great chance. But yeah, here we go. Ace match. Shout out to you guys watching still. We've been blessed with a wonderful final series so far. Spawning in the top right position, he is your Canadian Protoss from North America, because Canada is part of North America. Give it up for Root TriGGeR.
And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Hardwire LE, we have the South Korean Terran player, the commander himself. He was looking dominant here in this series, but now maybe not so much. We'll see. It's the ace match. Representing Kwangdong Freaks, it is KeeN. The mind is.
Light. I see a barracks.
Yeah?
You know, irregular position yet again.
Oh.
But yes.
What does that? What does that mean, Chase? What does that mean?
What it normally means is when you have a barracks at home,
Right. Yeah.
your units pop out at home, but when you have it on the map, your units pop out on the map. So I know like how big this influences the game, but I'll let you explain it later.
Yeah, like this is like a classic Legend of Twilight move, right? Where
Yes. Yeah.
where what's happening is Bella is pretending to I don't know where to take it, Chase. I don't know where to go with it.
It's kind of like,
Right?
say KeeN is Jacob and he's been friend zoned.
Right, yeah, he's been friend zoned.
Yeah. Say like the orbital command is like his neighborhood.
His wolf pack.
The wolf pack, yeah. He's put his barracks. He's put himself. He is this barracks.
Right.
Out on open ground.
Yeah.
And he's kind of letting himself be vulnerable.
Oh, emotionally.
And now you build your apparently you build your barracks on the enemy. I don't know. I thought, yeah. I don't know. The bunker is actually gonna get up though.
It is gonna get up. So again, like I love what KeeN is doing because he's kind of playing with his image, right? Because he's known as the player who's hyper aggressive, who's in proxying twice already this series and kind of getting into the mind of TriGGeR. In the end, it didn't quite work. TriGGeR, he confirmed that there wasn't a massive dedication coming his way, but regardless, he's still being annoying, and the bunker still finishes anyway. Just like Jacob.
Like, I'm seeing something kind of unplayable here. You notice when the Reapers shoot from inside the bunker, there's multiple flashes. Reapers, when they shoot with the pistols, there's no flash.
Okay.
That's unplayable.
Flash.
There's no muzzle flash.
Yeah, Flash isn't playing StarCraft 2 anymore.
Get out. So that's a lot. I can handle it because I'm still 2 hours earlier. When the company in the grand finals, and 2 hours earlier than I built with still mod memes. But right. I see a Widowmine. I see a medevac.
Yeah.
I see TriGGeR. You see what I'm seeing?
True. Once again, KeeN is going for that armory, looking to maybe go for a Thor on that factory. We'll see if he throws down the tech lab at some point and goes for the switch. But at the moment, he is going for a bit of a Widowmine drop. And mate, we saw how things went last time.
Yeah, we saw it. Unfortunately, TriGGeR didn't see how things went until it was over. But yeah, it looks like if we just get up the trajectory of this medevac, it's going towards the natural. So you're expecting maybe to come, because the natural kind of has the near the gas geysers. That's kind of like the point of entry where you weren't seen, and you want to get on top of that mineral line straight away. So expect your KeeN to come from there, and maybe not only just cause chaos at the natural, but then drop a Widowmine or two at the main as well. And just,
we'll see. I mean, at the same time, the Reapers are going into the main base. They're going to be drawing away the attention of TriGGeR, and at the same time, he's still ready. He still moves his Stalker to the natural. He wants the medevac. He wants it. Oh!
As he gets the medevac, 3 Stalkers. Not 3 Stalkers, sorry. 3 mines. They're just chilling. There's an observer.
There is an observer. The Reaper does get a couple of kills, but in the end, it looks like this time TriGGeR will not straight up lose the game. He will not lose his mineral line. He will clean up all 3 of these Widowmines.
Yeah, actually, he lost 3 SCVs, but that was just by the 2 Reapers. And very smart move by KeeN. 1 Reaper's kind of easy to just kind of set and forget. You send your Stalker after it. But if you have 2 Reapers, it requires a bit more micromanagement from the Protoss. Using that as a distraction to jump into the natural. But TriGGeR was just on it, wasn't he? He had Stalkers at both bases, and that medevac.
And this is great what he's doing right now. He's counterattacking. He chronoed out a War Prism. War Prism is already coming across the map so he can apply the pressure. Because of this opener from KeeN, what does he have at home to defend? He's going to have 2 tanks, but he needs them spread out. He needs to cover both the main and the natural, and even then, will he have enough to protect them from these Blink Stalkers?
That's right, and TriGGeR, if he's feeling particularly ballsy, he can just jump on this tank and put the tank down to 1. He's got that observer too. I can see the top tank. He kind of sees exactly what's going on here.
Oh my god. Yeah, exactly. We'll see if he can bust on in. I mean, what the problem is that a lot of these Marines are protecting the high ground tank, not so much the low ground, so it's looking a little bit exposed. He wants it, he goes for it!
Yeah, he does get one tank, and he's going to actually get the bunker as well. And TriGGeR now with that, even though he's used his blink, he's using the warp prism to help micromanagement. And just like that, KeeN, he's actually swapped his factory off the tech lab into the reactor. So his tank is the last one that's going to be standing here.
Oh, there's only going to be one tank in this entire game, and that's not going to be enough. The tank is covering the ramp, but TriGGeR, he can just rotate over and deny mining in the natural.
Yeah, and keep in mind,
He wants it. Oh!
Does he get the tank? No, he does not. He's going to get pushed back. He does scan. He's actually getting quite a few worker kills here with these little Marine 2, Marine 1 by. The main thing is TriGGeR's got a third base, and he's got tech coming. KeeN hasn't even started a third base yet. Like, I think he wants to commit to a 2 base.
And again, because there's only one tank, like, TriGGeR can abuse his mobility. He can blink between the main, between the natural. There's only one place that tank can be. As he's trying to find a way in. Behind this, looks like TriGGeR, yeah, he's getting a third base, so he's not... If he wanted to, I think he probably could continue to warp in across the map and maybe break KeeN, but he thinks better of that. He wants to continue on into the mid-game, tech up, and get his economy up and running.
Yeah, indeed, and I'd like to see extra little Marine run by. Actually, there we go now. TriGGeR putting back on gas now. He had 1 on one gas and 2 on the other for a good 40 seconds or so. But now TriGGeR just being annoying with these stalkers. And at this point, when you see moves like this, it can be hard to decipher if it's going to be a huge commitment or just a little bit of harass. Because that's the thing with like PvT, right? Is it stalker harass or is it a stalker all in?
Yeah,
but,
you don't know.
I guess seeing the third base now, it hasn't been seen yet, but KeeN's feeling pretty ballsy, sending out a medevac, probably thinking that TriGGeR would have been pulled by now. Oh, good line snipe there, but TriGGeR's looking at a phenomenal position line.
Oh yeah, he really is. I mean, it looks like TriGGeR hasn't spotted the drop, so there's a lot of potential with that drop. Maybe KeeN can get a bunch of worker kills. There's a crazy world out there, or maybe he even denies the base. As KeeN is in the midst of moving out.
Oh yes, TriGGeR not being careful. He's going to lose 3 stalkers. It looks like maybe in a 4th. Oh, but yeah, we do have this medevac drop as well, and he's going to see this third base with 8 probes on it. And actually, he's putting out quite a few stims here. TriGGeR, that's a lot of medevac energy being used up.
It really is, especially because the medevac count isn't incredibly high. Oh, I was curious if KeeN was going to throw down a third base or just throw down more production, but there it is. Third CC gets thrown down. At the same time, drop is finally hitting the natural.
Yeah, here it comes. Great drop position. 2 probes, 3 probes, 4 probes. Like, he might even know he's not going to get there. In the meantime, he's going to push into the third base here, but this bio is pretty bruised, like.
Yeah, it's incredibly bruised. You were talking about it earlier. The medevac honestly doesn't have that much energy. He's going to try and pick up and lift off, but these stalkers have blink, and TriGGeR's going to try and chase this down. In the end, he backs off.
And then now there's a drop in the main line. It's well happening.
Yeah, exactly. Well, he's trying desperately. +1 is going to be denied. He's trying to focus it down. He's going to get the forge.
These mines actually the third base are going to finish. They might even take a shot at TriGGeR or 2. But yeah, getting pushed back. There's even mines in the main that haven't been cleaned up in a Marauder. That's going for it.
That's the thing. It's the power of the armory. You need detection to clean them up, and there is detection here at the third base, so these winter mines will get picked off. But these ones here in the main are going to reset. Does TriGGeR notice? Up! He doesn't!
Oh, this probe! Oh. Luckily hitting the isolated probe instead, but I feel like KeeN's kind of brought himself back into this game because looking at the worker count line, even though KeeN doesn't have a third base landed yet, it is finished and he's up in workers with mills.
Yeah, it's one of those things where we were talking about it, right? In a head-on engagement, TriGGeR probably would have won, but KeeN had to bring himself back into this. He had to go for all these drops, and he hit at like 3 places at once. It was non-stop. TriGGeR was having a hard time keeping up, and now things are looking a lot more even. But that Colossus count has slowly been getting higher.
Yeah, that is 3 Colossus, and even though it's 4 now, is oh my god, yeah, I didn't say a 4th one. And do we have double robo here, or is it just? I think he's just kind of vibing, isn't he? But yeah, drop coming into the third base. We don't mind drop, and KeeN's been on point with all this harass at the moment.
Yeah, and it looks like these Widow Mines are going to deal damage. The mineral line is all going to go down, but doesn't matter because TriGGeR's main army is pushing into the natural.
Yes, indeed. This tank on the low ground isolated. Really good, decent Viking count. These Stalkers going to make short work of those, and I feel like, this is a lot of Protoss.
There's too much Protoss, mate. Despite the Vikings, it looks like the Stalkers are going to keep all these Colossus alive. 1 Colossus did get picked up, but we still have 3 standing strong. Third base is picked up, and I don't know if KeeN can. He's only got one tank, mate. That's all he's got. That's the backbone of his army.
He does have one tank. It looks like, yes, TriGGeR's going to be jumping in, but
Oh.
that's a bunch of amount of Protoss. Like, and there's so many probes lost at home. I think that KeeN might be able to hold on to this position if he can win this game.
A little bit of miscontrol there from TriGGeR. Did you see he moved Commander too much with his 3 Colossus? He went too far forward, and now 2 of them went down immediately. KeeN is holding. Oh my god.
Yes, he's trying to micro this Colossus, but I think KeeN is going to be able to hold this position.
Wow.
GG's.
GG gets cold. TriGGeR. How did he move? He exposed his Colossus far too much there, and KeeN does it somehow, some way. He is our champion.
Yeah, congratulations to KeeN. Well, as you said, like moving those Colossus forward when he had extended thermal lance, they're probably not needed, but you know, there's one tank that Splash did so much, and Colossus can go on top of like they can go on top of Stalkers and Zealots, right? So the Splash is even doubled up there. So very, very close cut hold there. And well played to TriGGeR, who was our runner-up today. Playing this well too, so early in the morning, you know, against a powerhouse like KeeN, but great series, and I thought it was a great final to watch.
Yeah, like, I'll be honest, we went all the way to the ace match, and even in this ace match, it could have gone either way. There were opportunities for both players. TriGGeR was taking a lead early on, and then KeeN brought himself back. It could have gone either way, and I'm just so impressed with our 2 players here, and we have our Royal Rotor.
We do indeed. First appearance, first win. Hopefully he can keep the form up, but yeah, yeah, it's crazy. And I can't wait to see when Beyond finally gets back. Some Beyond versus KeeN games will be quite a sight to behold, would they not?
They would. Oh my god! Congratulations, KeeN. Well played. Becoming our new Terran representative here. We know Beyond has been away for a couple of weeks, so we had to have someone step up, and this week it was KeeN. But TriGGeR didn't make it easy on him. Again, it goes to show how good of an opponent TriGGeR was. He's the only one who took a game off of KeeN today. Like, KeeN, until the finals, looked unstoppable. And even in the finals, like up until the halfway point, like, he was looking so good.
Yeah, and it wasn't just one game, was it? He took 2 games off of him, took it to the ace match, and the fact that yeah, when you think back to the second game when he unfortunately he lost 12 or 14 prayers on one Widow Mine, just it makes leave that taste in your mouth, like what could have happened if that didn't happen. Like, would the story have been so much more different? But I don't think TriGGeR can be kind of sad with how he played. Couple of lessons to learn, but all in all, playing against such a solid player in a best of 5 series, you learn so much, and hopefully he can we're taking away a small cash prize as well for second place. But hopefully he'll be back for stronger, maybe contend for that #1 spot.
Oh yeah, especially because of that boosted prize pool. So he's making a decent amount of money. I'll be honest. As the prize pool is what, 135 USD. Jesus Christ. Sorry, 130 USD. So yeah, really well played to our 2 finalists here. Not just our 2 finalists, but also everyone who competed today. Shout out to Beastlork, who was our highest placing Southeast Asian / Oceanic player, and shout out to Demi for winning that random participation prize as well. So a lot of people walking away with some money today.
Also, shout out to Shiva Blaster for their tier 1 sub. And 10 months subscribed. Thank you for supporting. I'm glad you enjoyed the series, and I hope everyone in the stream kind of enjoyed the series. It's always fun when you get to the end of the line. You see the best of the best, especially when we have players that are so prominent in the pro scene like TriGGeR and KeeN. It's always fun. Those games are wild.
Yeah, exactly. I also wanted to add on as well that TriGGeR, he's someone that you need to be keeping an eye on. We've been saying it all of last year, even the year before. When it comes to his own region, ESL Pro Tour, he is one of the best in North America. He has, I would say, cemented himself as top 4 at the moment. Like Scarlet, Estrella, and Neeb are still considered a little bit higher, but I feel like he's probably solid top 4. Maybe Vindicta can try and vie for that spot since he's investing a little bit more time. But like, TriGGeR has been really impressive with how fast he's been improving, and he continues to improve. He's not looking to stop anytime soon.
Yeah, TriGGeR's only 19 years old, and he only kind of exploded in the scene a couple years ago, really. So keep an eye on him for sure. In the EPT this season as well. It's great to, as we know, not only is there a balance patch that's been announced recently, but also ESL did extend their contract for the ESL Pro Tour to go through to 2023. So not only this year, but you'll definitely see him next year as well. So that's going to be really exciting, and it gives a good boon to the players as well, knowing they're committing to practicing for a game that will be around for at least 2 more years. So keep your eye on for TriGGeR for sure.
Oh yeah, definitely. Oh boy. With that, did they announce that it was extended for a year? Is that a thing that happened?
The ESL Pro Tour?
Yeah.
Yeah, the contract was extended. So 2022 was the final year of the it was the final year of the 3-year contract they had, but they extended it to 1 extra year as well. So
Okay. I didn't see that, but I knew that it like I assumed that this was going to be the third year actually of EPT.
Oh, no light, have I missed?
I was like, what are you saying,
year,
Chase? This is the third year. This is it. This is the 2022.
So next year will be 20. Yes.
Yeah, and this goes up to the 2023 Katowice. I was like, did I miss an announcement? I was like, calm down, Chase.
Yeah, so I'm all good, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, take that, light. Where's my apology?
What do you mean all good? No.
I mean, it was big news when it first happened, but either way, we're getting extra
3 years ago.
StarCraft.
Yes, we knew that this year was coming. I was like, shaking my head. Okay.
Shaking lights.
I don't want to spread any misinformation into the void. God.
Well,
But
I've got plenty of Twilight misinformation.
Okay.
But yes.
Yeah. So of course, keep an eye on him as he continues to improve. And with that, just want to thank everyone for tuning in. Again, I do apologize for all the technical issues that we had earlier. Like the stream had to go down a couple of times. Like there were some disconnects. We had some issues with the client itself. So I do apologize for that. That won't affect. It shouldn't affect too much of the VOD. Too much. We did miss out on the end of Gogajoy versus Chance. Feels bad, man. But overall, thank you everyone for watching. I hope you enjoyed the tournament. Chase, do you have anything else you want to add before we head off?
No.
Okay,
Congratulations to our winner.
Yeah. If you want to see more of Chase, he is of course Jackson_Calvi on Twitter, so you can follow him there. For his insane tweets. He likes to make memes. He's a great meme generator. So follow him. Follow him on Twitter. He's great.
I like memes.
And tweet at him and pressure him to stream some StarCraft on Twitch because he needs to do that more often.
Nice try. Yes.
Oh god. And yeah, a shout out to Chase as well. He recently got a job, so he's gonna be
Yes. See you light. Never. Is this when you quit your old job? Never liked you anyway.
Oh god.
And then I get fired for being a dick after 2 days. I backlight. I was just kidding. But yes.
Yeah. I guess my question to you is obviously like you're filling in regardless until Yaku finishes his studies for the semester. But you're still good for Sparkling Tuna Cup? You're still good to join us?
Oh, I need better light.
You do.
Not you. You're fine. I need better light. I got this webcam from like 12. I think it's 12 years old now. But maybe we'll see. Once the cash starts flowing, I'll upgrade my setup. I've got a condenser microphone, so you have to listen to this bad microphone. But we'll see what happens.
We'll see. Keep an eye out for the upgrades that Chase is going to have on his end. But yeah, thank you everyone for watching. Appreciate the support. You can follow me at light_VIP. I stream throughout the week. Final Fantasy 12, Final Fantasy 14, StarCraft Ladder. You can find all of that on my personal Twitch channel. But outside of that, you can follow us here on the Cranky Ducklings Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Discord. We are all over the place with plenty of StarCraft. Our next broadcast is going to be this Friday with Steel Mold. It is going to be Master Swan Open, I believe. If I'm not wrong. Master Swan Open. This week, so be sure to tune into that. It is our amateur tournament in just 2 days.
Yeah. So if you amateurs out there, you amateurs out there, you guys, you should sign up for sure. There is a a bronze to diamond tournament, which you
Mm.
can wet your ears in. And also, if you're a little bit higher as well, there's the men's MSO Open, which goes up to 4,900 MMR. So it's not quite that top tip, professional, higher level player, but you can still have, test your metal if you want to take the game a bit serious. And yeah, there's a lot of options. You can. We always love having you watching, but also having you playing as well is always fun too. So
Mm.
get on it.
Get on it, mate. Get on it. Until then, thank you guys for watching, and we will see you guys on Friday. Ciao.